Folks, my list of mistakes in this hobby is long and distinguished, but I thought it would be helpful to share a recent one. Just did a video on my 20-gallon tall rebuild. This particular mistake happened right after the build and has to do with the lighting. So if you are upgrading your aquarium lighting, here's a tip to avoid shocking your tank like I did coming up. After the aquarium build and the initial planning was completed, I started thinking about my lighting. I was adding more plants, better plants, and I needed something a little stronger, but I want to rewind and go back to before the build and talk about the light I was running on my tank before I redid it. Now this was a low light, low tech tank. I had 4 Anubias plants in it, and I was using Aqueon 5050 10 watt Mini Compact Fluorescent bulbs in this tank. I ran them 6 hours a day, but the lights were also 9 months old. They had lost a lot of their intensity. They needed to be replaced, but they still worked and the Anubias was still responding to them. I upgraded to a Finnex 24/7 Planted Plus LED light 1 month after my build. This is a 25 watt light, but it also had a 24-inch reach as opposed to the 12-inch reach on the Aqueon bulbs. And immediately I was so enthralled with it, I ran it on its 24/7 setting. I went 0 to 100 and shocked my tank. What resulted was an enormous algae breakout. I ran more intense lighting, I ran it a lot longer, and I didn't wait for my new plant growth to establish so it could try at least to compete with the algae. Algae was everywhere. Brown algae and green spot algae all over the tank. I eventually had to hire a crew of autos to help me with the brown algae. They did a tremendous job, but they don't touch green spot algae, so you'll see the remnants in a bit. The Tillandsia cardinalis I planted a week after the initial build did fine under the old lighting for 3 weeks, but as soon as I replaced the lighting with the Finnex 24/7 within a week, it all melted back. I lost all of it. It was shocked by the change in the lighting parameters. Remember, plants like consistent lighting parameters. Now the good news though, as my plant load caught up, the plants adapted to the new lighting, outcompeted the algae, but some damage was done and I'm still dealing with it now. Now I'd like to show you the difference between the old leaves and the new leaves, and to do that, a little old leaf, new leaf, green leaf, spotted leaf. Coming up, starting with the Amazon sword, you can see the new growth is just fine after the plants adapted, but the old growth still has the green spot algae on it. Same with the Anubias nana on the bottom right of the tank. The Anubias barteri in the back, you can see the green spot algae, but you can see the new leaf is just fine. The autos at this point had done a great job cleaning up. No, not in this video.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you. The autos had done a great job cleaning up that brown algae. Same with the water wisteria. You can look at the old growth covered in green spot algae, and the new growth is just fine. Moving over to the left side of the tank, another piece of Anubias nana, and same situation. You can see the damage that was done when I shocked these plants with the lighting. The green spot algae on the old leaves. Not in this video.
Okay,
look,
sorry.
Thank you. I'll try to get you in the next one if you guys behave. Now here's the tank today, and I can still see a lot of those leaves with green spot algae on them. Now obviously I'm going to trim that up as I go along, and the new growth should all be fine. So the moral of the story here, folks, and the mistake I made that I don't want you to make, is if you're upgrading your lighting, ease into the transition so your plants can acclimate to your new lighting parameters. It'll help avoid plants melting, and it'll help stem increased algae growth. If the lighting that you're using is more intense in your upgrade, run it for 4 to 5 hours and gradually increase the time that the light runs. Wait for your plant load to establish a little more before you run your light 8 hours or 9 hours a day so you have plants to outcompete the algae. But the good news is eventually your plants will adapt to the new lighting parameters as long as you keep them consistent. Plants do like consistent lighting parameters. I do like the Finnex 24/7 light. It does grow plants well. There are a lot of pros to it, but there are also a lot of cons to it. So I'm going to do a full review on this light soon, now that I've had 9 months to work with this light. So in any tank that you have, if you're upgrading your lighting, just ease into the transition, keep your plants in mind, and you should be just fine. Folks, the den is now on Instagram. Join me if you are so inclined at DMichael's Fish Den. Just started posting there. Please like, comment, subscribe for future content. Thank you for the support, and as always, thanks for watching.